right, Canadian Spartan community, welcome back to our podcast. We have a super fun episode planned for you guys today. It's going to be all things Spartan Ultra with Jonathan and Chris and myself and Jill, but we're going to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more random, a little bit more rapid fire. So make sure you listen to the whole thing because you never know what you're going to get on this episode. So welcome back to the podcast, Jonathan and Chris. Neither of you are new here, but just before we jump into the random, silly fun, Jonathan, give us a quick intro, and then Chris, and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Bouchard. I'm 41 years old. I have raced so far 46 Spartan races, podiums 16 times now. Going to Tremblant, I'll be doing my third Ultrafecta in my Spartan racing career. I will be racing in the elite wave and hoping to podium on that one. And then the goal right now is to try to podium at the age group national series, that's 10K super the following morning. So I got to keep a bit in the tank to be able to push on day two.
And I'm Chris. I'm 31 and I am less qualified than Jonathan in the podium front. I'm an everyday athlete. However, I've been doing Spartan now for a couple of years and I just take on every challenge possible. So this will be my third time at Tremblant as well and my third Ultra there as well. But many, many Spartans to be had across Canada and across the United States.
Yeah, I mean, you're no stranger to hard work, though, so don't let his lesser podiums fool any of you because he is a hard worker. So, okay, Spartan Ultra specifically, let's give a little bit of the down low before we get into the fun question. So it's 50 kilometers. Remind me how many obstacles again? I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot.
We've got 60. It's going to be 62 if you count the 62. The memory game that apparently is on the Ultra Loop.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 50K, 60 obstacles, up and down the mountain several times. I mean, fatigue is just going to be real. So, from your guys' experience, what's the average time for completion? And then what are you guys expecting elite racers to finish in this weekend?
That's a really good question.
As an average Joe Blow, I think 10 to 12 hours if you're just keeping one foot in front of the other. Mm-hmm. Last year, it was 10:45, and I think I had a pretty solid attempt, good momentum. And yeah, it was just shy of 11 hours. And I think that's where run-of-the-mill pack was last year I was in age group. But yeah, I think it was in between 10 and 12 hours overall.
And you have 15 hours in total. So it starts basically at 6 a.m. and we're done at 9. But there are some cutoff times. So just so everyone's aware of how that works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jonathan, what are you shooting for with the lead times this weekend?
Well, I'm going to aim for between 7 hours and 15 minutes and 7:30 is my goal for the race. I'm hoping that there's no mess up with the Ultra Loop and we do it on the first go and on the second loop. If it's on the first go, I'm confident I can hit 7:15.
So I just had an interview with Nick, and Nick has assured us that that is going to be on the first loop. But a spoiler alert, it's the same loop as last year. So that really fun downhill chaos in the trees, and then whatever that was climbing up the hill.
But it's done in reverse. This is going back the same course as 2 years ago.
Oh, yes.
So, okay, yeah. So let's talk about that for a second. So, Chris, along with many, 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 many others, had a DNF 2 years ago. It was a extremely technical terrain and setup of the course. So just out of curiosity, how do you feel knowing what you're going into this time on a sort of repeat course then? And how do you think it's going to change your approach this year compared to 2 years ago?
I'm actually a lot more excited. I think all the training that led up to this Ultra is going to help me. But I think back to the year that I DNF'd, and I like the way that the course was laid out on the mountain. Last year, it was really fun to run, coming down that gravel on the south side of the mountain into the village, and then having to go up that brutal hill, just climbing forever. Doing that in reverse this year, I think is going to be a lot nicer because we get to come back up the gravel road instead of up whatever that side of the hill was. But I agree that the first ascent and the ultra loop was no joke. That's like that crushed my soul. I only made it 30 kilometers that first year when I DNF'd.
And I
So
think you
I
Mhm.
should give a little recap, either of you, about why that was so hard for all of the ultra racers, because it wasn't just an 8K. Tell us why this was so difficult, in case you've
It,
forgotten.
it was 4K straight down at a very steep incline. Gauge at least 15 to 20-degree incline for 4Ks down. And I remember going down and seeing, oh my God, they put the signs upside down because they were facing up and not down. So I'm like, oh, someone screwed up. But once I saw 3 or 4 signs in a row that were facing the wrong way, I'm like, oh no, we're coming back this same way afterwards. So that 4Ks of brutal up, which would probably have been close to 1,000 meters of vertical over 4K. That was soul crushing. I remember, I think I saw you. You were coming down. As I was hiking back up, and I was kind of jealous because you were going down.
Yeah, but every step I took down, I knew like there's a point in time in the race where you know that every step you take down is going back up because you know there's so many kilometers back. So I'm like, okay, we're going down too far. We're going down too far. We're not going down to the bottom of the hill. There's no way. And then, of course, we're at the bottom of the hill. So, but then the worst part about that was that it was a surprise on the second loop of the Ultra, which isn't very normal. So.
Yeah.
that destroyed me last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember coming into transition and it was with the penalties that I had, but I'm like, hey, like we didn't have to do the ultra loop. I'm at 25K. So maybe we just have to do this again and everything will be good. And when we got to that turn off point where the ultra loop was on the second loop, and he's like, no, 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 you have to go do the ultra loop this time. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean I have to do this loop now? Like, no, 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 I'm already at the right mileage here. That
Yeah.
So
hurt.
So having done the first loop last year, I'm like, this is a relatively easy course. And we were pointed towards the ultra loop, but we did like a 1K little tiny loop. So I figured, okay, I guess it's a short ultra loop this year. So when I reloaded my vest at the transition zone, I wanted to save some weight. So I didn't refill my water. I just kept on going with what I had left of water, which was like about a little bit less than 50% of what I had. But I'm like, oh, I got maybe 20K left to go. And then I ran out of water in the ultra loop and I was just cooking in the heat, which was just marvelous. So I will be refilling my water this time around, regardless of what happens.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good strategy. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually, you know what? Let's just quickly, before we get into fun questions, talk a little bit about the transition area. So those who maybe haven't done an ultra before, can you guys just kind of explain the transition area, when you can expect it and maybe how little or how long you would maybe recommend somebody stay there?
Yeah,
Hmm.
so transition area is near the start line. Typically, it's to the right of the actual start line, probably within 400 meters at best. You can drop a bucket there with any supplies you wish. Some people bring coolers, others bring like a big plastic bin or something. There's no real set rules that are being enforced on it. You can basically put whatever you want in them. You can expect to hit that transition zone if the ultra loop's on the first loop. Around kilometer 29 to 30, you're going to be back down in the transition area. There's unlimited time. If you want to take a nap in the transition zone, you can. But my recommendation is to try to be under 2 minutes or less because you don't want to stop your legs from moving because from all the previous up and downs you do, the lactic acid will just build up and make it that much harder. So I'm anticipating under 2 minutes. I'm out, just enough time to refill my water and then grab my second half of my snacks to bring back up, and I'll be eating on my way up. So, and start running all over again.
Yeah, I second that. I actually it's all over the Spartan Canada Facebook group. I had just made a YouTube video about it. And it was funny because after I posted it, there was a whole bunch like question after question after question about buckets in the transition area. And I answered a lot of that or those questions in that too. But I agree. Like my time frame is 2 minutes to 5 minutes and no more. And that's why like I freezer bag the supplies that I'm going to have. So I actually don't even stay in transition to reload. I just grab my bag and I immediately head out and I will stock my vest as I'm walking because forward momentum outside of that transition area is less that I have to worry about after.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. The first year that I did it, the year that was freezing. Chris, you were there. When I got there, I was like, oh, this is great. I'll just chill. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to, do this and that. And I had a 20-minute transition time, which I was fine. But last year I was in and out and I had the same stock. That's a very good tip. Ziploc bag everything, have everything ready for your second lap and just shove it in and start eating. That's basically what I do too.
And I can make an
So what?
attestament to that too, because my first year that I DNF'd while talking actually, Amber, with Zach in
Yeah.
transition. And I sat down and I got cold, I got the cramps, and that was all she wrote for me the first year. And then last year when I ran it with one of the other ambassadors or former ambassadors that we used to know, Josh By, I think we were in and out like 4 minutes.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
made a difference. Like that ultimately made a successful ultra last year.
So have a
So
plan in
what?
there. Have a plan of this is what I'm doing in transition and make that the plan and stick to that. So you don't think of these
And,
Yeah.
things, right?
and just psychologically, if you're mid pack and you're actually there's 10, 15 people in transition at the same time, when you see someone else DNF and just say, okay, I'm done, pick up their bucket and leave, kind of encourages you to do the same. So you need to be in, out. There's no DNF option. Just keep on running.
Mhm. So what fuel do you guys take out on course? Because you said you grab your Ziploc bag, you keep on running. What is in there that you're taking out with you?
So I had initially actually like I do the gels, the chews. Every once in a while, like I'll bring like a bar or whatever. And it was only until I saw John's post, I went out and I got those nerd clusters,
Oh,
and I
so
went out
good.
and
I
I
love
weighed them
that.
so I could have the exact calories that I need. So I have that. I really get hungry. I found this anywhere after around 35 to 40 kilometers. I can't do sweets anymore. I need to eat something solid. And I've tried, I remember, Jill, you told me about the noodles. So
Hmm.
I tried that and it didn't work for me. But what I do is cut up naan
Oh,
and just a
that's
couple
good.
pieces just because I need something solid in my stomach.
Hmm.
So I do a couple pieces of cut up naan. I stick to the gels, chews, the nerds, whatever I can get that's that quick digesting. And then I have my liquid IV and my salt tabs. And that's it.
Hmm.
So for myself, I have the nerds. I have 8 portions of nerds, which is 50% of my actual food. I have 6 gels. I have 2 crustables. My transition zone treat is a millefeuille flaky pastry. While I'm going back up the hill, I'm going to have tailwind in my water at the start in both water bladders, but then at transition zone, I will just reload the 2 bladders with Coca-Cola. It gives you a quick hit of energy right in your veins, and you're good to go at that point. So, and it's easy to fill up, and there's nothing to mix in and all that stuff.
Well, you know what? I am a massive sweet tooth, so this ultra racing thing is starting to really appeal to me. The fact that you put Coca-Cola in your hydration pack and nerd clusters,
Nerd
y'all are really
clusters.
selling me. You're
Yeah,
selling me on this sport.
my treat, because I like the transition treat too, it is Oreos. So I will have 2 Oreos. Sometimes I eat them, sometimes I don't, but I'm usually looking forward to that. But Coke, I've never tried that. I do like that, but I do have caffeinated things. I like caffeine. So
So on bigger ultras, like your normal 100 milers or your 100Ks, they serve Coke at the transition areas. I tried it for the first time last year, and it really gives you a quick pick me up. So I strongly recommend it.
I
Yeah.
had that in the BB Backyard Ultra that we ran in October. It was the first time I had had that, and I was really nervous about the carbonation. And what they had actually gone and done is they had shaken them all up ahead of time and let them go flat. So
Oh, that's smart.
you could just swig back a whole thing of flat Coca-Cola, and yeah, absolutely, it was a game changer to give you energy to go out for one more lap.
And Amber, it's really just a hike with friends for the day, eating snacks and having treats. So,
I
you know.
love it. You know what? You're convincing me by the minute because I love snacks, I love friends, and I love treats.
Yeah,
So there we
exactly.
go.
Oh, and coffee. We'll make sure Amber has an iced coffee at transition. So,
Oh.
You know what? I actually take nerd clusters with like before DECA races too.
mhm.
So I'm already, no stranger to nerd clusters. I think they're great.
I
I'm
So
think they're the
they're
starting to eat like
official
a whole pack
running
though.
running candy now. Honestly, I
so
think they're the official running candy.
they are all over Facebook and TikTok, and there's research backing it. The 21 nerd clusters will be the equivalent of 1 gel that we intake, and it has the same glucides and carbohydrates and fructose, the same levels. It's just it doesn't taste like crap.
That's true because I've taken a gel a few times and it's almost come right back up. Like they're
So
hard, especially when you're already fatigued. Like the last thing you want to do is put a nasty gel in your mouth, but you do it because you need it. But it's
Yeah.
like counterproductive almost because you're like gagging. Yeah.
I do
Anyways, but I
maple
like the
syrup
idea
too.
of snacks.
I like maple syrup I've got a little squishy container that I fill up, but I actually have a couple clients everybody here does maple syrup, as you know, Jonathan. I have some clients that actually have quite a big production, and I'm going to get some suckers and some candies from them from that's pure maple syrup. So I'm
Ooh.
kind of excited about those.
Yeah,
It,
maple syrup. I mean, that's very Canadian of you.
it is very Canadian.
Welcome to the Canadian Spartan podcast.
We really do fuel ourselves off of maple syrup and Tremblant could be an igloo, really.
You know what? You never know. One side it could be, and the other side it could be like sunny. And that was it 2 years ago. It was like two different weather systems. I
Hmm.
remember because I did the
That
beast. Well, I did the trifecta weekend there. I didn't do the ultra, but I did the beast, and it was like different weather systems depending on what part of the mountain you were on.
two
Well,
years
Yes.
ago there, absolutely. You started out and it was hot and it was muggy and you were just sweating. And then as you got to the top of the mountain, I remember there was a fog to the point
What?
where,
Mm.
well, like when you were running down or as you're coming up, like you'd actually see it start to build or lower on you. And then you'd get in it and it'd be cold and it was raining. And you're just like, please let me go down the mountain again.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
supposed to be
do you
nice
guys have
weather,
any other?
so we're supposed to be getting really nice, perfect running weather, like 18 degrees at the highest. So that is perfection for me. So
Yeah.
I want to get into some of these fun questions. So, does anybody
awesome.
have any other like important things we should talk about before I start asking random funny things?
Go ahead, Amber.
Okay, we're just gonna go for it. Okay, so I guess you could both answer it. How do we want to do this? Should we just like free for all it?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do it.
Some of them are actually like good though. Okay. Question number one. Favorite obstacle? Don't think, just answer.
Rope climb.
I was gonna say rope climb too.
Olympus.
What?
Not.
I
You're
love
lying.
I love it because I can get through it.
Awesome.
It's a power play move that when you see everyone go up to it, they're tired and you just go hold to hold to hole and you tag the thing in the end. It's worth every bit of exertion to be like, yep, I did that.
And then you
It
get a
really
confidence
is.
boost.
So
Do
last
that.
year's Ultra, I would touch the Olympus and I'd just go run the loop. It was quicker for me.
I'm not doing that this year because I've been practicing that and I'm really good at Olympus now. So I'm actually going to do it this year. I did the same thing as Jonathan though last year but then they sent us up climbing forever and then the Olympus too. So I may change my mind.
Oh, it's going to be even more of a boss move when you're there and you
It's
finish it and you'll
true.
be like, yep, I did
I'm doing
that.
it.
Jill's doing it this year. She's strong AF. I won't swear on here. You all get the idea. Okay, least favorite obstacle. Go.
Bucket carry.
Spear throw because it's a hit or a miss, and I'm 50-50.
Barbed wire crawl.
What? You don't
Yeah,
like the
I don't,
barbed wire
not really. It just annoys me. It's
crawl?
like
Why?
it's not hard, but it's annoying because it's not. I'm probably going to cut myself up, and it's probably going to hurt, and I'm whining by then. So, it's at the end of the race, and yeah, that's all.
Well, that's okay. Maybe we'll just tell Nick to put it at the start of the race to see if we can confirm.
True, true.
Okay. Mountain course or flat and fast?
Uh,
Mountain.
Mountain course.
Mountain for me.
If I wanted fast
Wow.
and flat, I'd run a normal race, right? Spartan's supposed to be mountainous.
Oh, mountain because I have an excuse to walk.
Exactly. Hence the
No,
walking, hiking, friends, and snacks.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind that. Okay. Worst cramp location, as in like body part. Worst spot to cramp.
Calf cramp because once it hits, it just hurts more than anything you can imagine.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're going uphill, downhill, trying to jog the flats. The second that calf goes, you're done.
Stomach,
Yeah, that's
though.
fair.
Stomach cramps are pretty bad.
Uh, Yeah, actually, I've raced on a quad cramp. That was grueling. Like that was like next level suffering. I don't even know how
Mhm.
I finished that, but I did. Okay, if you could replace any obstacle with a nap station, which one would you replace?
With a nap
Olympus.
station?
Definitely Olympus.
Transition area. I'm not taking an obstacle. I'm taking my actual nap station.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chris's.
Wow, I thought you would have said barbed wire crawl.
Well, I guess you could roll in there and sleep. I kind of have a new technique. I go for a little bit and then I roll because I can't roll the whole time or I throw up at the end, and that's not fun. But
So Jill, try going on your side. So crawl a bit for like the first 10, 15 seconds really quick, but then kind of shift your body to the side. And
yes,
basically you're crawling sideways for me is the most efficient.
I do that. I do that, and then I roll a bit, and then I switch it all up to pretend I'm doing something different. Uh,
The only bad thing is when you get stuck behind someone and you're in like
oh,
momentum and then you got to stop. And you're like,
exactly.
we need a fast lane on the barbed wire crawl.
Well,
Yes.
and the barbed wire crawl is no joke. Like you can get cut up pretty serious there.
Hmm.
That's true. Very true.
So,
Okay. Next question. If your legs could talk after an ultra, what would they say?
We're not allowed to say on a podcast.
We
Yeah.
need to keep it PG.
they,
Why? That's all they'd be asking. Why?
do you hate me?
I think I would probably get some flack of like, okay, you did that to us. Well, next time we're going down the stairs, man. You watch out.
Like, yeah, how does it feel going down the stairs for a few days after an ultra? Because that's like, even after a bad leg day, that hurts. I can't imagine doing it after an ultra.
It's the
I'll let you
same.
know because this year is the first year that I'm not doing the Ultrafecta. So I'm only
Oh,
running the Saturday, and then because we're bringing my father-in-law for because it's Father's Day.
oh.
So we're just gonna spend the whole day walking around Sunday. So I'll let you know. I'll take some stairs.
Okay. I'm curious because like after leg day, like getting on the toilet sometimes is like a task.
Hmm.
Um, I can't imagine doing an ultra for like 10 hours. Okay, next question. This one's fun. Who is gonna win in the Spartan Ultra race? You or Mountain Goat on caffeine?
That's
Mountain goat
essentially
for sure.
yeah, that's essentially Jonathan. So he's won it.
It's with my Coca-Cola. That's my caffeine intake.
I think Jonathan's the only one of us that's crazy enough to race a mountain goat, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm hoping the
Oh,
mountain goat gets lost.
Okay. Oh, this one's kind of fun. If burpees were a food after failing the final obstacle of the ultra, what would they taste like?
Oh, how about like broccoli that's been in the sun all day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good, Jill.
Curdled milk.
Oh,
And you know what? And this, I love burpees. I'm so glad they're back for the spear throw. But yeah, if you're putting them right at the end, that's curdled milk all the live long day. They hurt going in. It's gonna hurt coming out.
Oh, oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and
that
I
is
don't
true.
mind burpees anymore since doing DECA. So anybody out there, if you don't like burpees, you should try DECA, and then you'll be used to throwing things above your head and doing them for speed time, and they'll be easy.
Well, there you go. See? It's
I just
almost like Spartan
remember
had it all planned out.
Joe DeSena's challenge that he put out before the death race or the 24-hour hurricane heat last year in the death race was the 300 burpees a day for a week. And that changed the game. Like I liked burpees ahead of like before, but after doing that, I love them even more now. And just try that one, 300 a day every day for a week.
Well, there you go. That could be our next Canadian Spartan challenge there.
Yep.
30
There
doesn't
we
seem
go.
so bad after a
No.
failed spear throw anymore.
That is true. Okay, well, this next question is really fun. Okay, so you fail the obstacle. Option of 50 burpees or a 1K loop.
Definitely 1K
1K loop.
I like them, but I'm taking that 1K loop.
Well, I think I could do 50 burpees faster than I could run 1K.
You
Oh
could
God,
though.
no.
But how
Well,
many times are you going to do that 50 burpees versus the 1K loop?
I think I would still prefer burpees over running a kilometer. mean, yeah, well, maybe you could. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Because
How
it's
much
every
elevation? How much elevation on the loop?
Yeah, true.
to be determined. Okay, 50 burpees or 5K. What would you pick?
50
Oh, I'm
burpees
go
would be quicker.
50
yeah.
burpees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um, okay, hydration pack or handheld bottle? I think I know the answer to this one, but it's on
Hydration
there.
pack. Unless it's a short run.
Hydration pack all the way.
So I'm gonna be the odd guy out here. This is the first year that I'm doing 2 handheld bottles, and I'm not doing the hydration
Oh,
pack. So the first year I went in with the bottles, but I had a vest that I lost them. So I did the barbed wire crawl, and that was it. I lost my bottles on the crawl, and then I had no way of getting water, so I limped it to
Oh.
water stations, and then that is what actually precipitated to the DNF. Last year, I did the camelback, and that helped. But my biggest issue with that is that I can't regulate how much I'm taking in. I don't know if I'm at the
Hmm.
bottom of it. I don't know if I haven't been drinking enough. But when I have the 2 500s, I know I have to have one of those an hour, and then every water station, I just fill them back up. But this year, I've got the vest that locks them in, so they're not going anywhere on me.
so that's kind of like both, like a hybrid of both.
Yeah, kind of. I can take them out. I can run with them in my hands, or leave them in the vest.
So, so, so I like the 200, the 500 milliliter flasks.
Me
And
too.
my strategy is just I take a sip at every kilometer. So every time my watch beeps for the whole 50 times is one sip. So, and it's been enough water intake for me. I just really drink the 2 3 days before, just to up my salt intake. So my body's full of salt and water, and one sip an hour, one sip a kilometer is good enough for me.
Which
Yeah.
is now, by the way, for anybody listening, that now is the time to be putting in the hydration and the extra calories.
Yeah, I had my
Yeah.
electrolyte around supper time.
Big bottle.
Okay. What's harder, Twister in the rain or opening a stuck pickle jar post race?
Oh, pickle
Oh,
jar.
No, it'll be Twister in the rain because they get slippery. So one little error in technique and you're on the ground and you're doing the loop.
I have a
hmm
little tip for that, for rain. If you jam your hand into the side of it, so instead of into the middle of it and rest it against it, it gives you more leverage and your hand sticks better. So,
Oh,
so you know,
thank you,
So,
Jill.
you're welcome.
but what do you do when it's beaters in the rain?
Beaters, I do the opposing grips, and then instead of swinging from each one, I get the grip and then I go. So I wait, like I don't go swing, swing. When it's dry, you can swing on them, but with the opposing grip, and if you just hold one and then hold the other and then switch your grip, so it's a slower time. Yeah. Not that
We'll have
that
to
works
take
every time. No, I'm just kidding.
anytime there's rain, I'm taking that penalty loop.
It does. It's a lot harder, but if I'm not tired, those are the things. But the definitely that shoving your hand into the side, your leading side. If you're doing side to side, I know some of the guys do backwards. Probably Jonathan does the backwards way.
I do backwards.
I
Okay,
do backwards.
so maybe trying the hip and the side to side, and relying less on your upper body strength and more on where you've positioned your body.
Have to give
I'm
that a
also
shot.
terrible at opening pickle jars too, which is really weird.
Without doing a Spartan race.
Exactly. I don't know why. Like I can carry 100 pounds in each hand, but anyways,
Okay,
another podcast.
bucket carrying strategy. Let's talk. Grit and grind or just have a mental breakdown and keep running?
Yeah, I take my Menti B and I just keep going.
Yeah,
Uh,
grit and grind. And ever since I ran in Sparta last year, now I'm running the bucket carry. So I just throw it on my shoulder and I'm running the whole time.
Oh,
Yeah.
if Marissa was on this podcast, she could attest to this because we went to West Virginia last year. We've gone there every year and we're hoping to go for Worlds. But you want to see a hard bucket carry and a hard sandbag carry, you go to West Virginia's course. They were unrelenting in how they did the carries. So yeah, you just take your mental breakdown and you just keep pushing through it.
yeah, that's what I do too. I'm crying on the inside, but a smile on the outside.
Yeah, that's usually me as well. I'm a sandbag carry too. I feel like it's no different. Although the sandbag carry, it just sits a little bit more comfortably,
Yeah,
slightly.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bucket. I remember this one poor guy, like he kept putting it down and I just felt so bad for him. He just couldn't get the bucket carry to figure it out. So we ended up kind of doing it together, but it is really uncomfortable. It does
It
make me
is.
question my life's decisions every time I do it, but
I will say
sorry,
that
okay,
strategy
on the
wise,
next
though.
question.
I was going to say, I will say strategy wise, though, I'll pick my dominant side for going up and then I will switch for going down, but I won't keep trying to switch it side to side as I'm doing it. I'll pick my strong side to get up. And then whenever we're coming back down, switch it to the left and then just run.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't have a lot of shoulders, so I end up just kind of like holding that backside there, front side here, and I just don't move because I feel like it's like
It's
grip strength.
awkward.
You know, when you're losing it, the moment you switch your grip is when you're on fall. You might as well just hang on for dear life. I feel like it's kind of the same thing with the bucket carry. Like, just I can't move it around without it going weird places.
It
But
is
Chris
awkward
has
for
bigger
smaller
shoulders than
bodies
me.
for sure.
The guy thing, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, what obstacle are you? No, wait. Which obstacle has personally offended you the most?
Oh,
So random.
Stairway to
Um,
Sparta for me. I'm offended right now about Stairway to Sparta.
Thinking about it.
For
yeah.
me, for me, it would be Z Wall. I slipped off of it like 2 years ago for absolutely no reason, and ever since it shot my confidence. So now I'm ultra slow doing it because I'm like, this is a stupid obstacle to fail. So I probably go 50% speed what I used to just because I'm not confident on it.
That is offensive.
Yeah, that would be. But
Yeah.
I'm with you, Jill. I'm Stairway to Sparta. That
hmm
it hurts my feelings every
It
time.
it hurts my feelings. I think we should have a support group after this.
We're gonna
We
need
need
one.
one. Um, which obstacle makes you reconsider your life choices every time?
It's probably the second sandbag carry in the Ultra.
Oh yeah.
And or the bucket carry the second time too. Like basically everything in the second loop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second loop sucks.
Anything.
If you go to the US or Europe, the chain carry is the
Oh,
utmost disgusting obstacle you can have because it's so heavy and it hurts your neck. If not in Canada, if it's a long bucket carry uphill, that really is tough.
You know
Hmm.
what? What actually for me is Hercules hoist. That one makes me question my life every time I get there. I think because it
which is
weighs more
surprising
than I
because you're so
do.
strong. So maybe you've got to do the slam your back to the ground
I
technique.
do.
Oh.
I do, but every time I do it, it's rained and I get the heaviest damn
Oh
sandbag
yeah.
every time. And I'm like reefing on it, and my whole body weight is still not enough to get that thing to move. But
That's true.
anyway,
That's true.
You
And
know
it is
what?
it does help if you are a bigger person in that for sure, because you can put all of
yeah,
your body weight into it. So,
But
it's true.
you talk about the rain, the plate drag.
oh
That was
yeah.
for Tremblant. That sucks when you get the divots and then it starts to
Oh
have
yeah,
oh.
that's true.
So
That one does make you question your life decisions too.
Mhm.
the
Or actually, Atlas Stone on loop number 2 for the Ultra is not pleasant, especially that the Beast racers have gone and now it's probably half a foot inside of the soil. So you got to try to figure out a way to take it out of there and then drag it.
yes,
Yes.
that's so true.
These are this or that questions to finish us off, just because I feel like we've talked about a lot of things. So these ones are just kind of silly and fun. So, rope climb or wall climb?
Wall
Wall.
climb.
I'm gonna say rope. I like the rope climb.
I would pick rope climb too. Because those 7 foot walls are really high when you can't yeah,
I'm
I
a
don't
little
know.
Yeah.
biased because we built an 8 foot wall and it's sitting in our backyard and we practice regularly. So I'm a
Um,
wall guy.
See, I
I,
have a rope I can practice on, so that's probably there
I
we
have one of
go.
those too, but for whatever reason, I like the walls.
there you go. I like both, but I rope for sure. I find rope easier than walls.
Okay, run in soaking wet shoes or dry shoes filled with gravel?
Oh,
Oh,
soaking
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 wet
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 shoes.
shoes.
shoes. You get one stone in your shoe in a race, and you will think about that until you get the stone out. So,
And I'll
Yep.
put it out there to people watching the podcast too. Like, go through the mud. Yeah, just get it over with and get used to running in the wet because it's gonna happen.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Go
Okay,
buy
Twister.
go buy
Oh, sorry.
foot glides.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. Twister in the rain or bucket carry in the mud.
Twister in
Oh,
the rain.
Twister in the rain, yeah, because I see myself falling and eating the bucket.
I'll put Twister in the rain too because it's a quick penalty loop, but you have to do the bucket in the mud.
Mhm.
And
There's no penalty loop.
we've done the bucket in the mud in Blue Mountain, I think 2 years ago. It was atrocious. You would take
Oh
one step
yeah.
forward, you'd slide half a step back. So yeah.
Brimacombe 2 years ago, it was like literally almost, it was mid-thigh. The mud was so deep. It was crazy. And somebody got stuck and lost their shoe, but it was like right by the finish line. I remember telling her, like, I'll come back and help you, but I wanted to finish because I was leading at that point. I did go back, but she was gone. So she found her way out. Okay, here's a fun one. Um, transition station porta potty or nature's calling in the woods?
Nature's calling in the woods.
Yeah. I don't want to go in that porta potty.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
take the porta potty because it's awkward being a female, but I'll still use the
yeah.
bush if I need to.
I've used the bush. You just go deep enough, no one sees. It's fine. I mean, you can always just pee your pants too if you're really.
That's true.
You're
That's true.
You would probably get chafing on a 50K though.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that takes us to our next one. Would you rather miss your gel stash, so like you lose it or something, or chafe for 6 hours?
I'll miss my gel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd rather suffer with no energy than have to deal with chafing.
Yes.
You know what? I think I'd rather chafe. I've gotten used to chafing once.
I bring back West Virginia and I remember doing it and we were coming up this one ascent and there was a gentleman just pleading with anybody who had Vaseline, lip balm, anything, and he was torn. Like he lifted up his shorts and you
Oh.
could just see it like raw Navy SEAL in the sand torn. And I was
Yeah,
there, no way am I dealing with that. I would much rather go hungry.
I've actually chafed so bad that I've like scabbed over.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know. It's not a vibe. Let me just
We're
tell you
really
that. But
making this sound appealing too. I feel like this is a great promotion for come and do
I
this.
Oh, and there's someone who's going to be listening to it just smiling like, yeah, I want this.
Yeah, so true.
yeah. Well, mine was only in a beast. I only chafed in beast. So just saying. Okay. In training, would you rather do hill repeats or burpee broad jump?
Hill
Uh,
repeats.
hill
I like hill
repeats.
repeats, but I also like burpee broad jumps. So can I do, I've done burpee broad jumps up a hill before. So how about that?
I think that sounds wonderful. I think I would rather do that too than hill repeats.
I just think how
I
effective hill repeats are.
yeah, you got to train for specificity, and hill repeats is the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, and if we're talking doing high rocks, then okay, no, we're doing burpee broad jumps all day long. But if we're talking Tremblant, I'm doing those hills.
Or you could just mix it like I've done. So
That's true.
Well, I mean, in the ultra, well, in Spartan, you're doing 30 burpees on a regular, so it's relevant. Burpee broad
Not
jump.
if you don't mess up.
Okay, well, when you run a perfect race, Chris, then we're gonna have you back on here. But until then,
Hey, I've
You
had two
probably
perfect
will.
races.
Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't had a perfect ultra, but I've had some perfect
okay.
races.
Wow. Actually, you know what? So have I in a 5 and a 10K.
Mhm.
I was going to say lots of
'Cause
supers.
yeah, those obstacles aren't that bad. And like the fatigue is not even comparable to an ultra. So that's fair.
No.
Okay. Okay. See, you are a rock star. You underplayed yourself earlier.
You set the bar really low.
You should have said, hi, I'm Chris, and I've had 2 perfect races.
You know what? That's what I'm going to start doing then. How many of you run? I've run 100 races, but I've only had 2 perfect ones.
So those are the only ones that need to count. So there you go.
That's true.
Okay, this one's good because this is like a thing of the times right now. Would you rather race without your watch? Because like, if it's not on the watch, it doesn't count. Or no shoes.
Well, I
No
gotta have shoes,
shoes.
so I'll dump the watch, but I wouldn't be happy racing without a watch.
I've run with
Right.
no shoes before, so
I'm gonna
Why
take
am
no
I not
watch only
sure?
because they're giving me the time and chip. So something's gonna be recorded.
See, my thing is though, like, if I'm just aimlessly running and not knowing, that would drive me mental. I think I'd rather run with no shoes.
But
Like,
that's
I
what I'm
can't
doing
even do like
anyways.
a no, I need my watch. I like to know like how much longer am I suffering for approximately. Like it keeps me mentally engaged. Like I went for an easy run last week with a few friends and it was literally an hour, but because I didn't know where we were running or when we were turning around, like I my brain just wanders. Like I have to either have it out and back or like I need to know what's happening.
there
So
was a
Amber
guy
has
in
ADHD.
Brimacombe that
I
was
do.
barefoot this year. So shout out to that guy who ran, I think it was the super bare feet.
Well, and
See?
you think about the
Yeah.
watch though, and how many times how many kilometers you at? Well, I'm at 15. Well, I'm at 18. Well, I'm at 10. Or you look down, you're like, oh, I'm at 50 kilometers. Where's the end? Where's the end? I don't see it. Like it should be here. The
Yeah.
watch is
I do
deceiving.
that.
At least
And
there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, okay, it's got to be the next corner because then every corner is the next corner and you just keep
A-
getting excited.
And on a 50K, you don't want to be looking at your watch constantly. You hear it beep, and hopefully by the first time or two that you're actually looking at it, you're at least a kilometer 13, 14, because if not, it's going to be a very long day.
Yeah, true. Okay, so no watch. I got it. All right. Here's a good one. Would you rather a finish line beer or a post race burger? Which one do you have first?
burger,
Burger, because
but
you're
a
so
veggie
hungry.
burger.
Yeah, it's going to be the burger.
Yeah.
That's
And
probably
Okay.
the least
electrolyte.
thing
That's
that
Because
I'm going to
that's my
eat.
new favorite.
you're
We
you're
all
gonna
like
race.
electrolyte now.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
Jill and I are gonna race the next day. So the last thing I want is to drink a beer after an ultra, because then you won't have a good night's sleep to go into the super. So definitely a
That's
burger.
true. That's
And
fair.
or three.
I would burger too. Yeah. I think after the beast, I ate an entire large pizza by myself. It was glorious.
So shout out to La Pizzeria in the Mont Tremblant Village because that has been my post ultra race meal every single time, and
Oh,
you can muck like
Nice.
a gourmet pizza there.
That sounds
okay.
good.
Everybody's going to go there, get a reservation now.
I'm just hoping they recognize this face. Be ready.
Well, you could just walk in and be like, I'm Chris. I've had two perfect races. And they'll be like, oh, we know you.
Oh no, but see, when it comes to this Saturday, it's gonna be hi, I'm Chris. I've now had three perfect
Three.
races,
And an ultra, perfect ultra.
and I happen to beat this Billy Goat on a mountain. I don't know.
High on caffeine.
Oh,
Okay. There's a few more, but I think we could end off with this last one because it's a good one. Would you rather do the ultra loop again? So you've finished your 50K, but you have to pick one of these. Either ultra loop again or 300 burpees.
300
oh.
Oh,
burpees.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
say
doing that hill
burpees.
again.
Well, I've only done two previous ultras. This is number three, and the ultra loop is always the hardest part of the entire course.
hmm
Hmm.
So even
Is
300
mental
burpees.
breakdown an option?
Yeah. Well, and because that's
Actually,
very
that was a
true.
question I didn't ask, but we can go back to that one. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say it's very true because you think of the Ultra Loop, and if someone here hasn't done one and you're listening, it's not like the rest of the course that's super clearly marked. It's already worn down. You got this nice trail that you're going to run. It's just arrows up a mountain with grass that's chest high and trees blown down in your way, and you just know your way is up or down, but both are going to happen on this loop for a very long time.
So
Mm.
hopefully Mont Tremblant didn't get hit by the ice storm this winter because it was horrendous last year. And if they got hit, it's going to be 10 times worse.
They
So I know
probably
I can
did.
take that. I can cry myself a puddle for my 300 burpees, but nothing is going to make that ultra loop nice.
No, that's so true.
Okay, well, there's one more question I didn't ask, but we'll ask it since we're talking about the breakdowns. Would you prefer the start line nerves, like those pre-race like anxiousness, or the 20 mental breakdown?
Nerves.
Prefer the nerves. It's kind of a combination of nervousness but excitement at the same time. So it's actually a good sensation, I find.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
and I know that pain cave's coming anyway, so I'd rather just get that
Yeah.
NTB done right then and there at mile 20 and we'll figure it out. But yeah, the
I
pre-race, I
do.
find it because like that's what I find turns my stomach, or that's what I find
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
where I mess up my pacing on that first go is I can have a perfect plan, but the pre-race nerves really mess with it. And
I
then it takes
agree.
me out of the beginning of the race, and I really start enjoying it, halfway through. But I'm gonna have the mental breakdown and the pre-race nerves anyways. So
You're gonna
Yeah,
have
I'm with
both.
you actually.
yeah, you're gonna have
Yeah,
both. So if I can just have the one later on, then let's just save up for that one. I don't want to have right off the hop.
yeah, I agree. I'm the same way because like once I get out there, then I'm like, why was I nervous? Like it's fun. But I do love when you're out there and if you do a race like with a group of people and everybody hits their wall or their like spot at a different point in the race, and it's a real thing.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because everybody responds in a very different way. So like I've done races before and like I mean I just get like when I'm starting to like lose it, everything gets like extra funny and nothing is serious and it's just a vibe. But then you get people who are just like get really like oh,
Depressed.
this is never going to end, and like, I can't do this. And then you get some people who are just annoyed by life and they don't want to talk to you, but like, don't look at them, don't talk to them. And then the best, I mean, I'll be honest, like one time, like that's how Zach is, so my husband. And while he was at his mid race mental breakdown moment, I was making fun of him because I'm the giggly one that's like everything becomes funny. Well, then the fact that he was getting pissed off got even funnier. And then he wiped out like so bad. And I was just like having the time of my life. But it made it so much worse. But it's funny. Like you look back now, it's like everybody reacts to the wall like very differently. So
Well, I
yeah,
ran
okay,
with
one more question. How do you respond to your wall, your mid race wall when you hit it?
Oh, see, like I ran with Josh last year, and you talk about it being like how people react differently. Like we teeter-tottered. He'd be
Mhm.
down, then I'd be down, and but it was nice because it was a balancing act. You'd see, I'd see him get into his head about it, so I'm able to pull him out. And for me, I get really quiet, and like I'm hating this hill for it being there.
Yeah.
Every step I loathe this hill. And then he'd say something and it'd be like, perspective. And he's like, oh yeah, you know what? Okay, maybe I don't hate this hill that bad. And you go through it. But to get out of your own head, that's hard. My wife and I always just say, just don't quit. So we sing it in that Dory song. And it's for me, it's trying to recognize that like, hey, I've shut down. I'm hating every step. I'm picking on the wind for blowing at me, causing extra resistance.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, like no, the world is not out to get me here. And then I start just doing the just don't quit, kind of like the just keep swimming song. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know what? I can get myself out of it.
Mhm.
That, and I forget who it was, but they gave me a really good tip for if you can recognize that you're getting into it. I like, especially on the death marches, is that I count to 10 steps. And like
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'll only pick like my left leg. I'm only going to count and it's going to go to 10. And then when I hit 10, I'm going to restart it. But I'm never looking up at the hill. I'm never going past those 10 steps. And
Mhm.
it's like, I know I can do 10 steps. And then you kind of get there. And if I have to take 10 steps, take a breath. Cool. 10 more steps, 10 more steps. And
That's
you,
Mhm.
that's my way of doing it on the massive. That's how I did it last year. I just felt, I think it was after the 8K loop, and it was like life is over now. Everything sucks. I hate this. I'm never doing it again. And it was just, okay, walk 10 steps, and at 10 steps, you get to choose whether you're going to walk another 10 steps again. So it was like recount. And then you don't you can stop at 20 steps now. Okay, then you get to choose again. And then I would always just start the recount and see if I could trick myself again. So yeah,
well, and you
that's,
do
I
that
love
enough
that strategy.
times. Like I always do the 10 steps and you like realistically, I always count my left leg. So that 10 steps is 20 steps. And you do that 10 times. Well, you know what? Now I'm, 200 actual steps up the
Hmm.
hill. And it's like, oh, okay, you know what? I made it this far. Let's just keep doing this a couple more times and we're at the summit. And then you get that reprieve. You get the water station, you get the little flat jog, and then you get to go downhill where gravity's your friend. And everything's right in the world for a little bit. And then you just need to revisit it on the next ascent.
Hmm.
I personally
Simple as
just
that.
yeah, I just remind myself that everyone else is suffering the same. So last year, the top three, which I was with that pace group, we were probably at some point all a minute within each other when we probably hit the wall. And I just keep reminding myself that they're just hurting as much as I am, and we're just battling it out. And whoever can tolerate the pain the most is going to get the podium. So that's kind of the motivator.
Well, it's going to be my motivation Saturday then. John's suffering. I know he's out there suffering somewhere on this mountain.
I promise you, Chris, John will be suffering at some point.
He might be 2 hours faster than me, but he's hating his life too.
Everyone hates their life.
I will never forget it because, John, you are elite. So my wife and I watched your YouTube videos of you doing the ultra, and it was so funny. We're watching you go through it, and my wife started laughing. And I'm like, what is so funny? She's like, see, he's human too. He's suffering, and you could hear it. And I was like, well, you know what? That's really good perspective. Yeah, I like that.
I'm happy Marissa appreciates that I'm suffering too.
Yeah. Oh, she loved it. He's human. He is.
So this year, sorry to disappoint, I'm not bringing my GoPro for the 50K because I want to save that little amount of weight, the like 50 grams for the camera. I'm just focusing on my race this year. I'll probably film the 10K.
Don't worry, I'll be bringing mine. I'll be filming the whole 50 when I can remember to click it between dying.
Yeah. I think Chrissy should just go live, and I'll just go along for the ride with you.
You know what? Yeah, it might save me from my mentee B. Someone come bring me up here.
And Amber will just laugh at you as you're tripping up the hill.
And I'm like, look, he's suffering. He's human.
Yeah. No, I can just hear it now. You want that perfect race, don't you? Get going.
I'm going to say that to you when I see you, Chris.
Oh, I'm going to look at everybody. It's my perfect race. How many penalties do you have? Don't worry about it. It's my perfect race.
Yeah, you're getting none. No burpees. We're going to get you a shirt that says no burpees.
Loop number 2 is always killer to get all your obstacles perfectly. It's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough.
We need to make a shirt that says no burpees for me and only hand it out for the perfect racers.
That's a good idea.
It's like a badge of honor.
They should give you that. Yeah, I want that for my Delta. my no burpees Delta.
No burpees for me.
Well, we're out here creating merch ideas.
Look at us go. Yeah. No. Well, that's exciting. I'm really excited for all you guys. I mean, it's gonna be a task, that is to say the absolute least. But I think all of you are ready from the sounds of it today. You've got, great perspective. I'm excited to hear about how many or how no burpees you guys get to do this weekend.
I'm going to predict 30 burpees out of 60. That's my prediction.
I'm not doing any burpees this time. I went and practiced my spear, and I'm hitting it again properly. So I don't want to do burpees. I'm not doing them.
Just manifest it. Manifest it now.
I'm going
no
to.
Burpees. No burpees.
And I'm just going to remind myself that I love burpees anyways. So I don't care if I have to do burpees, but I'm not doing them.
I have to do that the whole race, though. I love this race. I love this race.
Yeah, exactly.
We paid the race, so we paid for this.
Exactly.
Some people think we're probably mental. They'll be like, you paid to suffer?
Yes. Amazing.
Yes,
I cannot wait to see you guys on the course. I'll probably try to stick with Jonathan the whole way. No, just kidding.
You're more than
I will
welcome.
not be running Jonathan's race. I will be running my own race. And hopefully I'll see Chris.
Hey, you know what? We saw each other at Blue. We've seen each other a couple times. You never know.
We'll find each other.
I'll be sweeping back of the pack.
I started the back of the pack. That's my whole thing. I like to start last and go from there.
My first couple of Spartan Beasts, I was at the back of the pack, and now I'm at the front of the pack, which I'm very fortunate. But yeah, things can change.
I just don't like starting at the front of the pack. I like to end at the front of the pack. But
it's a psychological nightmare to be at the front of the pack because everyone's pushing you.
It is.
Especially on the uphills. That's what gets me. Hey, we're going my pace up this hill. If you want, you can go around.
Yeah, I always say that.
Out of the way.
I'm like, it's okay. Everyone should pass you. Everyone is going to pass you right now. You're going to be okay with that. And then I don't get upset.
See, I'm the opposite though. I generally pass people on the uphills, and they pass me on the downhills because I'm a scaredy cat. I can't send it down the hill like you guys do.
I try to lead the race until we get to single track, which is usually at the top of the hill, and then I can dictate the pace. I can pull back a bit, and then everyone's stuck behind you. So that's the goal.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Yep.
I like it. Mine's going to be survive.
Well, I would piss all of you off if it was single track and I beat you to the top and we had to go down behind me. So,
Awesome.
anyways, well, thanks guys for joining us on here tonight. Good luck to all three of you this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds up, and you guys have an awesome race weekend.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Amazing. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.